Welcome, everyone. This is the PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating podcast. Here we chat about all things boating with marine industry professionals and enthusiasts who spend all the time they can out on the water.
Hi, this is Tanya Becker, and I'm your host for today's episode of PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating. I'm here today with Phil Maiorano, the founder of Hooked Fishing Gear. Phil is an avid angler and launched Hooked Fishing Gear to provide stylish, sun-protective clothing to his fellow anglers. We're going to talk about a variety of topics today, so let's dig in. First of all, thanks so much for being here today, Phil.
Thank you for having me on, Tanya. I appreciate it.
So let's start by talking about the types of fishing you like to do. I know you live in Connecticut, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, so what species, where do you like to fish?
Mainly we fish saltwater in Long Island Sound. Go for striped bass, sea bass, porgies, bluefish, albies when they're around. And like any other fisherman will tell you, anything that's biting that day will work for me.
And you were just out today, I think. How did it go?
Exactly. It went very well. Nice calm day for a change, not a lot of wind, and a lot of bluefish. A lot of big gator blues.
I mean, I think fall is kind of an overlooked season for some anglers. It can be a little chilly, but fall's a great time to fish.
No, it's beautiful. You got blackfish season starts here on October 10th. So the next month or so, that'll be in season. And then we go to the winter, unfortunately.
Well, that's the not that great part, but unless you like to ice fish, I guess then it's good.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you, but I see it's fun. It looks like fun, but I don't know if I could be out in the cold that long fishing.
Yeah, and up there in the Northeast, the fish are hungry this time of year, right? They're getting ready to kind of settle in.
Yep, the fall run definitely on.
So do you like to travel at all, or just you kind of stick to the Northeast there?
No, basically in the Northeast. My boat's in a marina. I have about a 45-minute drive to the marina from where I live, and originally we had intentions of trailering the boat, Rhode Island, Cape Cod, stuff like that. But trailing's no fun with today's traffic, that's for sure.
Yeah. So you said you just said you have a slip at the marina.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a lot easier. Then I could pop out by myself when I want it. I don't have to worry about trailering or anything. It's just a lot easier.
What kind of boat do you have, out of curiosity?
I have a Sportsman Open 232 center console.
Why did you pick that boat? Just curious.
Mainly, it's all the new center consoles have seating and whatnot. Basically, I'm about 90% fishing, 10% leisure. So I like the open boat. I like to be able to walk around the boat and have all the space I need and bring a couple friends with me.
Yeah. Managing the boat and fishing is a lot easier with a friend or two on board, I would imagine.
Especially when it comes to cleaning it.
The boat or the fish or both?
I get past the fish. I'm mostly recreational. I don't keep really anything. I'm catch and release, but cleaning the boat's a major chore at the end of the day, but it's all worth it.
Are you a big tournament angler or not so much?
No, mostly for recreation. Like I said, today I took a half a day off of Hooked and just needed to get on the water because last weekend wasn't good weather. So I just go out to relax and have a good time and clear your thoughts and go out and fish for a little while.
So let's with mentioning Hooked, let's spend some time talking about Hooked gear. And for our listeners, Hooked is spelled it's Hook 'D fishing gear. I believe you just launched the business on Instagram this year, but I don't think that you're new to the apparel business. Can you share a bit about your story and how you came to launch Hooked Gear?
I've been in the apparel business for quite a few years now, off and on. I started in the motocross industry. My son was racing motocross, and we started an apparel company to kind of offset the cost of racing. And we were able to travel up and down the Northeast racing, and the business grew into sponsoring amateur and pro supercross riders as well. It was a great atmosphere, a great bonding experience for my son and I. And, go through the years after that, I did a motocross app. I did a motocross social media website. I did a stint of being a marketing manager for a pro supercross team. And once my son stopped racing, I had downtime and I got back into fishing, which I've done all my life. So the past 3 years is, I wanted to, get back into fishing and, see where I can go from there. And then, so I had the idea of starting Hooked, and we launched in January on Instagram, just, the brand itself, introducing it to people on Instagram. We launched our apparel line in March, and in the past 7 months, we've had 5 retailers in the U.S. now carrying our brand. a little over 80 pro staff members that are dedicated to growing the brand right with us. So it's been kind of a big hit, and it's fun too. It's something I enjoy. It's something I'm passionate about.
And we're excited at PartsVu. We're excited to start carrying the brand, start carrying Hooked gear. We've been very much focused on building out our apparel and kind of lifestyle lines, in addition to all the maintenance products that have kind of been our bread and butter since we launched. So we'll be live shortly with your line. So we're excited about that.
I'm very excited about that. I couldn't thank you again. It's a great opportunity for us, and I've ordered from PartsVu in the past for all my boat parts, and it's a great company.
Good. Well, when we first connected, I think we kind of started the conversation because you reached out, and I was really impressed with the colors and the design of your line. And my colleagues at PartsVu were too. We were all excited about it. And the kind of the look of the apparel is obviously an important factor when you're selling apparel. But your products serve an important function, which is, of course, sun protection, in addition to looking snappy. And I don't want to sound like everybody's mother, and preach about the need to take measures to protect yourself against skin cancer and sun damage. But for those of us that spend a lot of time outdoors, sun protection is really important. And I think everyone's aware of sunblock and are likely aware of sun protective clothing. But I don't know that a lot of people know the difference between the protection that they each offer. Could you talk a little bit about the difference between the SPF, or the sun protective factor found in sunblock versus the UPF, the ultraviolet protection factor, which is how sun protective clothing is rated?
As far as the colors and designs that you touched on, basically we do all our testing through our pro staff. We like to get their ideas, what colors they like, what designs they're looking for. They're a major part of our business model right now. As far as the SPF and sunblock and the sun protective clothing, I'm no Dr. Phil by any means, but what I
play one on TV or play one on a podcast.
Yeah. I know sunscreen is recommended for sun protection, and it has an SPF factor rating is how they rate that. And most, SPF will come in a 30 rating or higher. You apply it to your skin 15 to 30 minutes before you're going into the sun, to protect you from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. As far as clothing, clothing's almost the same thing, but they call it UPF, which is ultraviolet protection factor, which is ranked in UPF factors. So they start out with like a UPF 15 or higher. So basically a rating of UPF 15, like Hooked gear, that only allows 1/50th of the UV rays to pass through the garment itself, through the material. In other words, UPF 50 will block 98% of the ultraviolet rays from the sun. The difference between the two, again, from what I know, is that sunblock is recommended to be applied every 2 hours, especially if you're swimming or sweating or it's washing off your body basically. Whereas clothing like ours provides instant coverage without needing to reapply anything.
So the protection in the clothing is in the fiber itself. So it's not something that's going to wear away when you wash it or anything like that, I don't think. And it seems like it's a good marriage. I mean, wearing both sunblock and sun protective clothing, it's especially good Lord. I mean, the sun is so strong in Florida and in certain parts of the country, or it's you need a lot of protection.
Definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say that you wouldn't need any kind of sunblock if you have sun protection clothing, but especially like I notice when I go on the boat, my hands will get pretty tan because obviously I don't have clothing that goes down on gloves or anything like that. But you should definitely still apply sunscreen anywhere that clothing's not protecting your skin.
It's interesting that you mentioned your hands, because as I was preparing for this. Preparing for our chat today, I was just doing some reading, and there are sun protective gloves, like fishing gloves. And I never thought about your hands getting so, tan or burnt fishing, but it makes sense.
I mean, when you're out there, you don't even feel it sometimes. I mean, it could be a nice, cool breezy day or even a hot breezy day where you don't feel the sun beating on you, but you get back and I roll up my sleeves, my arms are still slightly tan, but my hands are pretty dark. So, it's still something you should consider, like I said, with some kind of sunscreen or gloves,
And like you mentioned, I mean, all of Hooked gear sun protection is 50 plus, which is, I believe, the highest rating for sun protective clothing. Are there other lines that are out there that are maybe less and maybe inferior that, people are kind of getting confused a little bit? Like,
I look at it the same way I would look at sunscreen. I'm a darker complexion, so can I get away with a SPF 30 sunscreen versus something higher? Again, not knowing the logistics and science side of it, I couldn't really tell you. But I have seen UPF 35 clothing out there. I wouldn't say any other brand's inferior. It's just it wouldn't block as much of the ultraviolet rays, from what I understand, as far as a UPF 50 versus UPF 35, just like SPF and, for suntan lotion.
I am not dark complected, so I like all of the sunblock, all of the sun protective clothing.
When we were younger, we used to use suntan oil. We never had sunscreen. So, big difference these days.
Exactly. So obviously since we're outside fishing, and it's hot in the sun a lot of the times, I'm sure that clothing needs to be comfortable and breathable in the heat as well. I mean, is your line your breathable, like wicking material as well?
Yeah, our material's 4.1 ounce microfiber, which it makes it breathable. It's also comfortable, durable, quick drying with the moisture wicking, like you said. It's a zinc-based technology to keep you odor free as well. So if you are sweating, and I'll be on the boat and I'll notice it's hot, but I'm not sweating, but my face will be sweating, or my hands will get a little sweaty holding the pole. But as far as the clothing, there is no sweating, and even if you were, like I said, the moisture wicking technology takes care of that. And the plus side, you don't smell either.
Double bonus for anybody else in the boat with you.
I mean, I've tried other UPF shirts, and the material to me was slippery, where it was sliding off of you, not sliding off of where it's going to fall off, but it's either it was, slippery where you're trying to reel on a fish and that your sleeve's going up or down. And I've seen other ones that have been too clingy or baggy as well. Our material doesn't cling, it doesn't stretch out, and, it fits pretty, not too tight, but it's not baggy either. So it's a good fit, and it's a comfortable fit. That's for sure. And I wear it on the cooler days. I'll even if we're going out and it's 50 degrees in the morning, I'll put the UPF shirt on, and then I'll put my sweatshirt over it, because it does act as a base layer to keep you warm without having that big bulky feeling of layers and layers of clothes.
I'm a runner, a distance runner. So I, breathable, kind of wicking clothing are important, but I have found if you don't launder them correctly, they smell and you cannot get the smell out.
Yeah. No, most definitely.
It is impossible.
Definitely. They claim that any zinc-based technology material, and again, this is from what I've read, but they say the more you wash it, the stronger the zinc, makes it moisture wicking and odor free. So, I don't know how you could prove that, but if you have it for 5 years or something, and it's still doing its job, then God bless it.
This has been great. I've enjoyed learning more about your line and just yourself as a fisherman. Before you go, where are some of your favorite places to boat? Up there in the region or elsewhere?
Mostly, like I said, we stay on Long Island Sound. I've done this for about 3 years. I started with a smaller boat. And it seems like even with the boat I have now is only 2 feet bigger, but I like to venture out different areas. I like to go straight across Long Island. I like to go east. I'm working my way to getting into Rhode Island. It's kind of a far haul from where I'm at, but I like popping all over different places, just seeing different sites and seeing if there's any different fish or type of fish that are biting that over that way. But other than that, I'm happy on the water no matter what. It's like I said, today, 3 hours for me is almost like therapy today, to be out on the water and catch a couple of fish. It's just relaxing. It clears your head, and you don't think of all the crazy stuff going on in the world. It's kind of my getaway.
The more you can not think about crazy stuff going on in the world, the better off if we all are, I feel like.
Exactly. I mean, even during, I won't bring up COVID or anything like that, but I mean, during COVID, fishing was the go-to for just about everybody I know. So even people that never fished before, it was a nice getaway and just
Absolutely.
Get outside,
And the boat industry went, as you might imagine, absolutely nuts, in the spring and summer last year.
Oh, yeah.
It's still there. It'll be,
it's still there.
the supply chains will try to be working themselves out for a very long time yet. So
I think they're saying another 2 years, it's going to be like this, which is, it's good for the industry, but the pricing and everything else, which is a whole nother thing. But with the current inventory, I'm sure you guys know as well as PartsVu is getting inventory on anything these days, and what a good lead time is kind of tough. But we're doing the best we can.
It's good and bad. I mean, it's been good. Yes, I mean demand is high, but people don't like it when when we're out of X filter because we can't, Yamaha, Mercury, whoever's supply chains everybody's supply chains are messed up. So it's hard to have patience with something that should be pretty easy to get a hold of.
I'll be ordering my winterizing kit tomorrow from PartsVu,
yes,
so just so exactly. I have it in
time. Good. Well, as I mentioned, earlier on, PartsVu is proud to be one of Hook Gear's online retail partners. And for those of you who want to check out the product line, head to PartsVu.com. You'll find Hook Gear in our apparel category within the products and accessories section of our site. And you can also learn more about Hooked Gear at hookedgear.com, and that's hook, the letter D, .com. And thanks for being here today with me, Phil, and thanks to our audience for listening.
Thank you, Tanya, and very excited about the partnership and the future together.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating podcast. Is it almost time for routine maintenance on your outboard or Mercruiser marine engine? Check out our easy-to-use maintenance kits at partsvu.com. And for free shipping, use the coupon code PVTalksBoating, a special perk for our podcast listeners. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for boating knowledge, to keep in touch with the PartsVu community, and for special sales and promotions. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and check out the show notes for the coupon code just mentioned, more information about PartsVu and the products we offer, as well as our boating blog, the PartsVu Xchange. And a big thanks to Mend for performing the original music featured within this podcast.